On this show of Real Screaming Kayaks, we have Destination Eastern Bay of Plenty, part 2 of our adventure with Kerry Flowers down in this amazing part of New Zealand. There's a section on how to soft bait. We cover some of the basic techniques and some of the things to get you successful when the soft bait's dropping down. There's Kayak Workshop, where we cover the fittings that you can put on your kayak to get it ready for fishing. There's Fish Finder screenshots. This time round we have an absolute stunner to show you, and we cover the advantages of using down imaging and side imaging in comparison to sonar. It's competition time, and you get the chance to go in the draw to win an awesome prize back thanks to the generosity of our partners. All this and more coming up on episode 6 of Real Screaming Kayaks. With first fish, and it's off! Screaming! Last time on New Zealand Destination, I met up with Kerry Flowers and we went off in search of adventure at the Eastern Bay of Plenty area in the North Island of New Zealand. Day 1 tested our equipment and resulted in some great fish. Our second day was the tournament, with Kerry and I joined by Jeff Force. The day started off with plenty of action. Plenty of kingies here. They're not huge ones, but good fun nonetheless. Oh, here's the bronzy. Oh no! Oh, that bronzy just dealt to me. I just was pulling up that fish and the bronzy just took everything, including the kingfish. Oh, bugger. Yet the quest was far from over. I don't know if you can see this, but there's the end of me trace. Now that line's pretty chafe. You can see he's just come along, had a good bite and bit down on the trace, and as it's pulled tight, bang, separated. It happens. Unfortunately, where there's kingfish, sometimes there can be sharks. You know, they're predatory fish. They'll hang around the kingfish for an opportunity like it just got there. So, you know, just be very cautious when you're around and there's a shark. You know, they're generally not after you, they're after the fish, which is a good thing. You know, we're lucky in New Zealand, we've got so many fish in the water that's what they feed on. But yeah, it might be time for us to move on soon, I think. Here we go, just pulled up a nice fish. He's pretty bloody green on it though. He's pretty feisty. He's a bit feisty, but anyway, we're happy with that. He's going ballistic too on deck. We'll keep this one for the back. It's good eating size too. Caught that on that Zest Slow J jig. You can see that jig there, the silver Zest Slow J. Just a nice 40 centimetre plus fish. We continued to enjoy this piece of the ocean undisturbed by the sound of a boat's motor, but that soon changed. The most frustrating thing about this vessel was the fact that they drove around us a number of times, sometimes within 50 metres or less of our kayaks. Clearly, they were looking for something, but in doing so, were showing no consideration whatsoever to what we were up to. With our cover blown and the fishing going quiet, we decided it was time to move on and explore the island. Now you can see on the fish finder here, we're in this spot where there's a whole heap of underwater volcanoes, and you can see those bubbles coming up on the sounder. Now if we go from there and look over the side, check it out. You can see those bubbles coming up. It's pretty different to be out in an area like this with big bubbles coming up from, you know, what is 47 odd meters. So pretty amazing, pretty different, that's for sure, you know. Kerry's just sitting in amongst them up there. And yeah, I mean, there's just a massive amount of bubbles coming up to the surface. This is Whale Island that we're looking at here, and probably an old volcano or something, an old active volcano, but really cool scenery. I think this island is a bird sanctuary as well, so you're not allowed to land on here, but some of the rock formations are really cool. It's quite surprising what you come across when you come out to these offshore islands. This pair of seagulls is obviously going for a bit of a mating ritual or something. Apologies for the shaky footage, but there's quite a bit of swell coming through here. So, and I'm zoomed right up to show these guys going at it on the rocks, having a bit of a you know, must be a mating sort of thing they're doing, going through the courtship ritual or something. But pretty cool to see a couple of black-backed gulls, which are an endangered species in New Zealand, by the way. So yeah, pretty awesome. There they go. They were really going for it before, but yeah, must be you know, getting ready to mate, and they've gone. Geez, some of the beautiful scenery you come across when you're out here around some of these islands, and this piece of coastline here is certainly no exception to that. I mean, what a stunning archway, and there's a lot of bird life here. They're all nesting up on the cliffs. And another view of this part of the headland on the sort of northeastern end of Whale. Just stunning. Caves, overhangs, you know, it's really battered piece of coastline. Awesome to look at. Beautiful scenery, some of the cool things we have in New Zealand on offer. So we're just cruising around the other side of the island, and this fella here is just sitting up on this rock. He's just laying down now. But seals everywhere around the island. Well, that's pretty much the end of our day. We're just heading back now. Wind's pushing a little bit of chop, a few white caps around, and pretty comfortable in this kayak, pedaling back. We've had a big day today. I mean, we went around the back of the island. That was like 12 k's from our launch site in a straight line, so we've probably done over 30 k's today, if not more. Yeah, big day. Few fish to show for it. You know, we really wanted to get a kingfish today, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But awesome fun. I mean, that island and the scenery is just stunning. It was just a real pleasure just to go for a bit of an explore around that and have a look at what it looks like from sea. Never seen it. Been out here in boats and things and kayaks before, but never been around that island. Deep water off the front of it, and at the right time of year, blue water. So the potential for, you know, Whakatani's well known for game fish and tuna and things, so yeah, you can see why. But still got a good 4 k's to go before we get back, and then we're going to go and check out weighing, see what's happened with the other competitors of the comp. Some of them put in a huge effort. You know, I don't take comps too seriously. I'm not really into killing big fish unless I want to eat it. Like yesterday, that snapper that we landed on the jig, which went back, I get much more pleasure out of letting the big ones go, because they're the prime breeding fish and they have the best genes, and we want those guys to stay in the gene pool so that we can basically see more fish like that produced and surviving. So yeah, almost back. And how was that, boys? How you feeling?
That was big.
Pretty big seas out there now, isn't it? I mean, I did a bit of a talk on the way back about our day and everything. What was the highlight of your day, guys?
I reckon seeing that bronzy, seeing that bronzy chasing that kingy all fired up. Oh man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, wasn't it?
That's pretty cool. Those things are something else. They really are.
Yeah. The scenery was stunning. What was your highlight, Jeff?
Oh, the Marco jumping out of the water.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome too, wasn't it? Just
yeah.
randomly jumping everywhere.
That and around the back of Whale, all the caves and everything else like that, it's just absolutely stunning, man.
We could have spent so much more time around the back of Whale. Imagine if we had some time to go and explore it.
Go and take the tent out there.
Yeah.
It'd be a great place to actually stay in, and you know, the proximity puts you right in the position for that blue water, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. And there's some really fishy looking ground out there. We marked so much sound on our sounder today, but the fish just didn't really seem to want to play the ball. But man, there was a lot there. There's current, there's structure, and there's really good water all right there. It's a pretty special place.
Everything you're looking for in a kayak fishing adventure.
Oh, sure.
Intentions were good, born to a war with no link to your past. If you come and last, won't you beat me down back into the...
It's always a great atmosphere during prize giving at this event. I took the opportunity to catch up with one of the club founders and find out how this all started. We're at the Whakatane Sports Fishing Club, with Brian Jones, the president of the Eastern Bay of Plenty Kayak Fishing Club. These guys are awesome. I've been coming to this event from the beginning, and Brian will tell you how long it's been running, because I've kind of forgotten, to be honest. But I just love coming down here to this place, and this competition these guys run is fantastic. But it also gives me an excuse to get away and come down here and fish such a fantastic part of the country. As you've seen what we've been up to the last few days and things, we've had some pretty amazing experiences out on that water. But Brian, how did this whole kayak fishing club start out, and obviously the competition and event?
Well, 9 years ago, a group of locals got together at the local kayak shop. You were actually involved in it, came down, got us keen. We held our first tournament, which after that we had an AGM and the club was formed, and we've been operating for 9 years now, and today was our 8th annual tournament as the club, 9th one if you include the setup one. So yeah, it's been going a little while now.
Okay, so you know, coming to this event is pretty special. You get to meet like-minded people, and that's one of the best things about doing these comps, is you'll meet other kayakers, you get to fish new territory, you know, and that's an adventure on its own. I mean, today we went right around Whale Island. We didn't catch a lot of good fish. We had some mighty amazing adventures though, and that's what it's about. So thanks, Brian. Can't wait to come back again next year. So if you're looking for something to do in New Zealand and you want to come down here to Whakatane, then look these guys up. You know, even if you're coming for a visit and you're bringing your kayak, check out the club. They're more than happy to accommodate you and help you out with information on spots and things like that. Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much for turning up, and hope you enjoyed your stay.
Awesome, bro. Cheers. Catching up with some of the other kayak anglers was time well spent, and our evening finished back at base in Ohopi to enjoy the spoils from the day before. The next morning it was a slow start, and with the wind building throughout the day, we chose to head back to the East Cape area. As we travelled, conditions seemed to worsen, and after some searching, we found the place, thanks to Brian of the Eastern Bay of Plenty Kayak Fishing Club. It wasn't long before we entered the water, anchoring the kayaks in a sheltered area just inside a headland. This time, the search proved fruitful, with power located and in surprisingly good numbers. Kerry and I even managed a few crayfish, and a couple of hours was all we needed to secure our catch. By now, the sea was getting really choppy, and it was time to leave, even though we would have liked to explore for longer.
A man walks quickly down the ghetto and looks behind him twice. Every time he sees a shadow, he starts to run. His heart is beating much too loud. He's falling to the ground. But something following you, dictating everything you do.
When accessorising the kayak for fishing, look for products that offer versatility. Railblazer is ideal and based around the starport mounting system. This allows accessories like rod holders to be added. On top of this, Railblazer has options to make customising the kayak easy. The versatility of the starport system caters for fit out of 3 different kayaks. Items like the trackport system offer multiple attachments and are easily transferred to another kayak. It's this versatility that has catered for the demands of filming also, including adaptation to custom cameras. There's some seriously good options with Railblazer, so jump on their website and check out the range. So today in our fishing technique section, we're going to show you a few basics on softbait fishing. Softbait fishing has been a really awesome way of catching fish off the kayak. It's clean, no mess, always ready to go, you know, so convenient is definitely where it's at with softbait. So, but they've proven to be a very effective way of catching fish, and off the kayak we're in the stealth mode, so we can go around chucking these things around and basically hunt fish out without being detected. It's a real advantage. So anyway, to show you the techniques with soft baiting, first of all, to start with, when we're casting, we want to cast with only a small amount of line out the end, about half the rod length, if that. And basically we don't need to worry about having a lot of line out to cast this. The secret with casting soft baits is to stay in touch with it. And when you cast, follow through with the cast. Keep the rod tip pointed down so that the line lays on the water. We've got a bit of wind around today, so, you know, even trickier. So you want to follow through with your rod and then keep that tip down on the water so that you can see that line. You're pointing in the direction where you've cast and you're counting in seconds. And that will give you an idea of when it's going to hit the bottom. We're in about 10.5 meters. So, you know, counting in 1AB, 2AB, 3AB, etc. will give you an idea when you get to the bottom. So we're letting it sink down now, and you can probably see this. The line's tight. It's on its way down. So we're watching closely to see for any little changes in that line, any disruptions, or the line just starts shooting forward, and we will strike at the fish. So the line's bowed up, we got to the bottom and nothing's grabbed it, so we're going to start working. And I didn't barely get to even work that soft bait before a fish hit it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so the technique for retrieving it is keep the rod tip pointed down, wind up the slack line, and then we're flicking the soft bait and jerking the rod to make it move around. So it's a technique of flick, 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 flick skyward. Wind down the line again as we go, and then same deal. Lots of little flicks. A lot of people I've seen soft baiting over the years, especially I've taught a lot of people soft baiting, and the problem that we have is a lot of people, when they first start out, they'll lift the rod a few times to make a few twitches, and that's it. Give it lots of little jerks. Work the soft bait all the way back to the kayak, because sometimes fish can see the soft bait and by the time they reach it, it's below the kayak. Or sometimes a fish can be below the kayak or follow this bait all the way back and then basically see this soft bait on the bottom and decide it's out of here and basically will hit the soft bait. Working that soft bait definitely is doing the job. Oh, this is a good fish. This guy here has not really shown his true potential yet. Woo-hoo-hoo. He's keeping close to the bottom. We're going to make sure that hook's set into him because we want to bring this one up. This one has got some weight to it. This fish is definitely solid, and I don't have this fish yet, that's for sure. Taking a bit of line. You don't want to have too much drag on soft baits. You want to keep your drag set, so that you've got enough that when you strike the fish, they basically you're setting the hook, but so that the fish can run. Here he is. Oh, great fish. I'm really happy with this guy. Came out of a school of heaps of them by the looks. Check that out. Great fish. Here it comes. Yeah, and this is what we've been after. We're in 12 meters and this guy's still, he's not ready to come up, so we just got to take our time with him, get him to come alongside the kayak. You don't want to be in a hurry to bring the fish on board, and you don't want to put too much pressure on them. That's when you pull the hook out. Sometimes these guys can be hooked by the slightest amount in the corner of the mouth. This guy's a solid fish. There we go. Check that guy out. Woo-hoo! Finally, a decent snapper. That is a stonker, and you can see that he's hooked in the corner of the mouth there. I've lost my soft bait, but good trade really, isn't it? Nice eating size snapper. One of the coolest things that I like about soft baits is that they do get hooked in the corner of the mouth, and that allows you, if you want, especially with bigger fish, like this guy here is a good eater, you can actually let them go, and that's one of the things I like. We're going to keep this guy though, but I love the fact that they get hooked in the corner of the mouth, and that's because you're in direct contact with them and you can basically set the hook and strike straight away, and with the braid being non-stretch and everything like that, it allows you to basically, set that hook them in the corner of the mouth, and when you get a bigger one, you can let them go. For more top fishing tips and techniques, head down to your local store and grab a copy of New Zealand Bay Fisher magazine. To celebrate our 6th episode of Real Screaming Kayaks, we're giving away a fantastic prize pack. In the prize pack there's something for him and her, fishing tackle, salt away to keep your gear in good condition, and a whole lot more, thanks to our generous partners of the show. To enter the draw to win this prize pack, you will need to subscribe to the New Zealand Kayak Fishing channel on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and also answer this question. How long has the Eastern Bay of Plenty kayak fishing tournament been running for? To find the answer to this question, you'll need to watch the Real Screaming Kayak show. And once you have the answer and you've done the subscribing and liking, then email the answer and your details to rob@yakfishnz.com. Good luck, and the winner will be drawn and announced in our next show. This episode features a screenshot from my Humminbird Helix 9. On the left we have sonar view, which you can see a definite school of what looked to be snapper. The right hand side is down imaging, and you can clearly see a different view from what you can in the sonar on the left. There's individual fish marks and also what looks to be a school of bait fish that the main school of snapper appear to be surrounding and they're sitting up on top of the school. This would have to be one of my favourite hummingbird screenshots taken on the Helix 9 just recently. It clearly shows the kind of picture quality that you can get when you play around with the settings and adjustments that are available on your unit standard. The returns from this unit are simply amazing, and you can see individual fish marks clearly on both down imaging and side imaging views. What's really interesting is the difference in the views, with the bottom left hand corner showing sonar and fish returns. In the down imaging, on the top right hand corner, things look completely different, with the individual fish marks showing up like in the sonar, but also a school of fish in front of them. The side imaging view on the right hand side is like the down imaging and clearly shows those individual fish marks spread out either side of the boat, but also the bait school that doesn't show up in normal sonar. So clearly the down imaging and the side imaging are giving greater perceptions of what's around, and this is why having side imaging and down imaging can be well worth the extra expense. To see the full range of hummingbird fish finders, visit their website. Special thanks to our sponsors. Outdoor Sports New Zealand provide the Old Town kayaks and Ocean kayak that get us to the action. Humminbird provides the technology that finds the fish. Railblazer customises our kayaks. Sharkskin protects the body against the elements. Neptune assists with the free diving, and Pelage captures the seafood. Jigstar rods fight the fish, and Zest jigs attract the fish.